And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, Tom Vasel here, and today we're talking about Rush Hour Shift. Now, I played Rush Hour quite a bit in my time. It's a puzzle, many people have played it, in which you're trying to get a car out of traffic, which is a horrible thing in real life, and it's horrible in the game. It's a very difficult game, but I like it. They make various versions of Rush Hour, all different versions, and it's a very popular thing. So now, I was excited when I found out that they had turned it into a two-player game, in which you're trying to be the first one to get out of rush hour traffic, moving cars in the other person's way. Let's take a look at how the game works, and we'll be back. At the beginning of the game, you're going to pick one of the setups here from the book and set these boards up like that. You may not use all the cars, but you'll have most of them on. One player is going to be the silver car, the other the gold car, and your object is to drive your car off the board on your opponent's side. Now, there are three boards here. The two outer ones fit on top of the middle one, and they're made so that they can slide back and forth like this. There's also a deck of cards. This deck is shuffled, 4 given to each player. On your turn, you can play a number card, if you want, from your hand. That lets you move vehicles that many spaces. So maybe, for example, I'll go 1, 2, 3, like that, trying to clear this out of the way. The cards go from 1 to 4. So 4 would be really good. Maybe this guy gets 4, so he does something similar. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now your goal, you're not allowed to move cars off the board except your own, which is how you win. And so sometimes you're going to need to do other things, like for example when you play this card here, you can slide something like this. So I might be able to slide the board around. I'm not allowed to slide it so that it doesn't connect, obviously. And if there's a car on the sliding board, you're not allowed to move it. That locks it into place. There's also a card that has a one-time symbol like this. That means you can take one vehicle and move it as far as you want, which means you can move pretty far with your own car. Sometimes you can even, if you have the board set up properly, let's say it was like this here, you can move all the way off the board and win with that one card. And then there are cards that show a number and a slide. A 1, 2, 3 here and a slide, which means I can maneuver the board and move that many spaces. So you continue doing this until one player gets off the board. That player is the winner of the game. Here's the deal. I think the concept here is really good. I like the idea of the sliding boards and the components, the boards and the cars. It's really well done, put together. The boards slide very satisfyingly. It all comes together well, but the biggest problem this game has are these cards. The fact is, getting a 4 card is 4 times as good as getting a 1 card. There's no way around that. The cards are completely random. Getting a 3 card and sliding the board is really a good card. Getting that one time where you can move your car as far as you want is incredibly powerful in certain circumstances. So I don't know how to fix that, because every time I played this, every time, the person who got the better cards won. It's not like there's that big of a puzzly thing. You're getting cars out of your way and moving, and maybe putting some cars in your opponent's ways. But I mean, since many things you can do are simply undone by your opponent, it's not like you can ooh, I gotcha this time. So it's a very simple game. And kids will enjoy it, but still I think there'll be some frustration with these cards. Now, I can think of solutions. You take the cards and split them exactly in half. Each player has their own deck, in which case they would be drawing the same type of cards. That would be one solution. Another solution would have been to make the cards all fairly the same weight and how they worked out, and then you just had to be a little bit more clever than the other person. So I don't think this is, if you played Rush Hour before, those puzzles are hard. I mean, you go through those hard puzzles and you're like, oh man, this is difficult. And it is really difficult. But this isn't difficult at all. This is the other extreme. This is so easy. I can't imagine anyone going, I can't figure out how to move the cars out of the way. And so you're playing against an opponent, but your opponent isn't making the game harder for you. So it's two people playing a very easy Rush Hour, and then it comes down to whoever has the best cars win. I want it to really like this one, and the component quality is high, but there's a lot of problems, and it all stems from this deck. Dice Tower Judgment, too lucky.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Hey, Tom, we got to shut that door.
Yeah?